Today we're going to show you how to use the Braid-tastic Beading and Braiding Workstation. Included in your kit is your braiding loom, colorful cording, colorful beads, beading thread, needle, and design templates. Let's begin! The 6 spools are pre-wrapped, but that doesn't mean you have to use that cording. Simply unwrap the spool with the cording you don't want to use, and wrap a new strand of cording around it. Stick the end of your cording through the hole on the spool and wrap it around the spool until you reach the end. Once each spool is wrapped, lift up the cranks on the spool holder and slide them into place. Be sure that the cording is coming over the top of the spool from the back. Slide the long plastic axle through the spools to secure. Push the axle in until you hear a click. If your spool is all out of cording or you want to change colors, remove the axle from your loom. Take the spool out and replace it with a new one. Pull a 12-inch strand of cording from one spool and tuck it into the foam slit on top of the loom. Pull 2 8-inch strands of cording from 2 different spools and tuck the cording into the 2 foam slits on top of the loom. Cross the leftmost strand over the middle strand. Then, cross the rightmost strand over the new middle strand. Continue to cross the left and right strands over the middle until you have reached the end of your bracelet. Using the longest end of cording, tie a knot around the braid. Unravel more cording from the longest strand spool and cut the strand about 4 inches from the spool to the start of the braid. Tie the end of the cording into a knot around the beginning of the braid. Cut the ends of all the cords from the spools and you have completed your 3-strand braid. Pull one 14-inch strand and 5 10-inch strands of cording from the spools. Tuck the cording into individual foam slits. Each time you use a piece of cording, you will remove it from the foam. Once you are finished with that particular strand, tuck it back in and continue weaving. For this particular project, I will refer to the colors on the loom, but you can use any colors or cording that you like. Let's begin. Cross the pink strand over the orange strand. Weave the pink strand under the yellow strand, over the green, under the blue, and cross it over the last pink strand. Wrap the neon pink strand around and under the last pink strand, and pull it all the way to the right with your right hand. Next, cross the orange strand over the yellow. Weave the orange strand under the green, over the blue, under the neon pink, and over the last strand. Continue to repeat these steps until you have reached the end. Once you have reached your desired length, loop the longest piece of cording around the braid and into a knot. Unravel 4 more inches of cording from the longest spool and cut. Tie the cording into a knot around the top of the bracelet. Trim any excess cording from the other skeins and your 6-strand bracelet is now complete. Now that you've mastered the 6-strand braid, you can do the same with 4 or 5 strands instead. Simply follow the same instructions using only 4 or 5 strands. For the next project, you'll need to create a spool of friendship thread. Remove the axle and unravel the spool of cording all the way to the right. Rewrap the spool with a 100-inch piece of friendship thread. Remember to thread the end through the small hole on the spool and wrap it around the middle until the spool is full. Slide the spool back into place and push the axle in until it clicks. Let's begin! Pull a 10-inch strand from the friendship thread spool and tuck it into one of the foam slits. Thread beads onto this strand until you have filled 6 inches of the thread. Knot the end of the beaded strand 3 to 4 times to secure. Next, pull a 14-inch strand of cording from one of the spools and tuck it into the foam slit at the top of the tool. Pull 10-inch strands from the remaining spools and tuck the ends into the foam slits as well. Split the 6 strands into 3 groups of 2. Cross the leftmost group over the middle. Then, cross the rightmost group over the new middle group. Continue to repeat this pattern until you have reached your desired length. Once you have reached the end, tie the longest strand into a knot around the bottom of your bracelet. Unravel more cording from the longest strand spool and cut the strand 4 inches from the start of your bracelet. Tie a knot at the beginning of your bracelet with the longest strand. Cut the rest of the strands from their corresponding spool and your bracelet is complete. Fill each spool with about 100 inches of friendship thread. Pull 30-inch strands from each spool, tying all of your strands into a knot above your top foam slits. Tuck the group of your strands into the middle slot with the knot directly on top. Split your strands up and tuck the ends into the slits on the bottom of your tool. For this particular project, I will be referencing the colors as shown on my tool, but you can use any colors you'd like. Let's begin. Take your pink strand and your orange strand from the foam slits. Cross the pink strand over the orange and loop the end under and over the orange. Pull both strands to create a knot. Repeat the same steps with the same strands, and then move to the yellow. Cross the pink strand over the yellow, looping the end under and back over. Pull tight to knot, and repeat the steps one more time. Continue to make double knots with the green, blue, and purple strands until you reach the end of your tool. Tuck the pink strand into a slit on the bottom of the tool and begin the same weaving pattern with your orange strand, knotting each color twice until you have knotted the pink strand. Continue the knotting pattern, working your leftmost strand to the right, using a new color each time you finish a row. Once you have reached your desired length, remove the slits and tie your strands into a knot. Pull the top knot from the spools for about 5 inches and cut your cording. Your friendship bracelet is now complete. For this project, you will need to use one of the design templates. You can also find more templates online. If you wish to use one from online, either print it out at home or pull it up on the web browser on your phone. You're going to want to place the template underneath the clear tray on your loom. If you wish to use a template that you pulled up on your phone, simply stick your phone under the clear tray. Remove the 2 pieces of foam from the tool. Place the design template of your choice or your phone onto the empty space on the bottom of the tool. Place the provided beading tray onto the raised pieces of the tool so that it lies directly over the template. One by one, place the corresponding beads into the slits on the beading tray, following the template. Leave all of the gray areas on your template empty. Once you've completed beading your design, pull a strand of satin cord from a spool. Place it into both the top and bottom slits on the left side of your beading pattern. Repeat with the right side with a new spool of satin cording, or a cording of your choice. Cut a 46-inch strand of beading thread. Tie one end of your beading thread into a knot with a 1-inch tail around the satin cording to the left. Thread the long end of the beading thread through the eye of the needle. Thread the first row of beads onto the needle. Pull all the way through the beads and loop the needle over and under the right satin cord. Thread the needle back through the first row of beads in the opposite direction, weaving the needle from right to left. Pull the needle all the way through, wrapping the thread over and under the left piece of satin cord. Continue the pattern moving to the next row of beads. Loop the needle through the beads, over and under the right satin cord, back leftward through the beads and over and under the left satin cord. Continue until you have reached the end of your cording, pulling the beading thread tightly each time you weave back to the left side. Once you have reached the end, tie a knot with the beading thread around the left satin cord to secure. Cut the satin cord from their spools, leaving about 5 inches from the beginning of the spool. Unhook the satin cord and tie the left and right strands together on the top and bottom of your bracelet. Your woven bracelet is now complete. You have now mastered how to use your Braid-tastic bracelet maker. Don't forget to visit us online for more design templates. Bye!